Hello, hello, hello. I'm gonna wait till I get one person on here. I mean, I can't invite people, but I'm gonna wait till I get one person on here. Let's see, I can turn this up. Make sure I don't need to turn it up or nothing. Can y'all hear me? All right. Thank you, baby, for tuning in. Listen, this right here is for all of the pastors, the leadership, all of the clergy, all of the above, right? Listen, God was showing me this morning that we need to stay focused on Him, not them. Stay focused on Him, not them. Because see, the problem is we trying to compete. Many of us, well, many of them, Pecan, how you doing, my brother? Trying to compete instead of complete the mission that God has sent us to do. We try to compete instead. What I mean by compete is if one church is talking about this and another church is talking about this, if it's in the Bible, it's still kingdom. It's still kingdom. The problem is we discrediting other parts of the body because they ain't preaching like them. And that's an issue. You may have one church preaching about healing. One church preaching about the end times. One church, Terry, how are you, man? Appreciate you chiming on. One church preaching about this, that, that, and the other. If the pastors and the leadership get caught up in worrying about what the next pastor is preaching about, that is called a distraction. Did God tell you to preach at this time about the end time? Did God tell you to preach at this time about kingdom living? Did God tell you to preach at this time about whatever else that God has you focused on? About how the body needs to come together. What is God telling you to preach on? Pastor, what is God telling you to preach on? Bishop, what is God telling you to preach on? Leadership, what is God telling you to preach on? Now, this ain't for everybody. Because there's a lot of us got that focus now that we ain't worrying about the next person. We ain't worrying about what they preaching about. We know it's the kingdom, but we gonna stay focused on the subject that God got us on. Okay? If you stay focused on the subject that God got you on, you in the best place you can be. But the problem comes when we're trying to be on the subject that the next person is on. Now, God strategically placed people. Sometimes people place themselves, but God strategically placed people. So if God got you over here in this church and they preaching about how Jesus died and went to the cross, how he went to the cross and hung and died. If that church is talking about that and you're not there anymore, you own meat now, don't discredit that church. Don't discredit that church. God got them where they need to be at. You need to get where you need to be at. Because if you in the church that's preaching about milk, that don't mean that that church is wrong. You could be in the wrong place. You could be in the wrong place. So pastors and leaders, don't worry about what the next church is preaching about. Don't worry about the next subject that somebody else is talking about because it's a popular subject. Don't worry about that. All of the subjects are popular. All of the subjects is needed. All of the subjects is just as important. So don't worry about the next person. God says stay on the course. God says stay on what he got you doing. God says stay focused. God said don't move. God said you do what I called you to do, not what they called you to do. See, keep your focus on him, not them. Because God the one called you, they didn't. They'll call you some names. But God called you to do things in his name. And that's what you need to stay focused on. So if there is another church that's talking about that is educating the people on prosperity, educating the people on healing, educating the people on whatever it is. Let them do them. Let them do what God got them to do. Now, your problem is whenever you see a popular pastor preaching about a subject and you see that they got more following than you got, pastor, now you want to preach about the same subject, thinking that the subject is what got them to come follow them. It isn't. It's about being in the place that they're supposed to be in and eating what they're supposed to be eating at the due time. See, everybody can't drink milk, but babies can. And you probably drunk milk as a baby, but now you can't call you older. Now I give you gas. See, you just because somebody else drinking milk it don't mean that you need to drink milk. It means that you need to get where you need to be in order to eat, in order to get fed. What's gonna make you full? So don't worry about the pastors that's preaching this, that, and the other. If it's in the book, don't worry about it. It ain't none of your business. It ain't none of your business why they preaching that. Pastors, don't y'all be discouraged. Don't y'all be jumping from topic to topic because somebody else jumping from topic to topic. You jump on what God got you on. God says stay focused. Focus on Him. Don't focus on them. That's what God is saying in this hour. That's what God is saying in this hour. That's what God is saying in this hour. You love to talk about your flock. Don't be a shepherd that get off track and then lead the flock astray. Come on now. You need to stay on what God done called you to do. Stay on what God is calling you to do. Speak on the subject God got you speaking on. You understand what I'm saying? If God got you preaching on the end times, then you keep preaching on the end time. Don't worry about nobody else, but just don't put your mouth on God's people neither. Because another pastor ain't preaching on the end times. Because another pastor ain't preaching on the end times. Because the other pastor ain't preaching on the end times. Maybe there is another pastor preaching on the kingdom and how to receive everything that Jesus done for us. Huh? Now don't you get mad at that pastor for not preaching on the end times. Or either pastor that's preaching about the kingdom. Don't you get mad and don't you worry about the other pastor that's preaching on the end times. I'm just using those right there for an example because those are the fresh ones that's on my mind. But I know of many more. I'm just trying to help you understand you ain't got to worry about that. Don't worry about that because that ain't your problem. That ain't your fight. That ain't your fight. That ain't even a fight at all. We making problems sometimes. And that ain't what God got for us to do. God wants us to stay focused. God wants us to keep doing what He called us to do. Regardless, stay out of everybody else's business. Stay out of what God is doing in the next person. Do you understand that you cannot, listen. If you preaching and educating the people about healing, and somebody else is preaching about praying, and they get mad because you always preaching about healing, and you get mad because they always preaching about praying. Look at how many more subjects it is in the Bible to preach about. Do you understand this one thing right here, that you cannot preach the whole Bible in one setting? Do you understand that? You cannot preach the whole Bible in one setting. So somebody may be on one topic, somebody may be on another topic, and that's just what it is. It don't mean that they out of the will of God. Because everybody can't preach on the same thing at the same time. And it's ignorant for you to even think they can. It's ignorant. It's ignorant. It's ignorant. So don't do that, y'all. Don't do that. Stay focused on what God got you doing. Pastors, I'm telling you, I'm trying to encourage you. Pastors, please stay focused on what God got you doing. Don't worry about the next pastor's sermon. That ain't your business. And I'm saying it out of love. I ain't saying it to be rude that it ain't your business, but it ain't your business. It's not your business. Focus on what God got you doing. Focus on what God got you doing. All right? God bless y'all. I hope somebody got something out of this. Peace out.